Okay, we're ready to start. We have Kyrie here, Siberian Husky, 6 years old, spayed I suspect, but I don't know, okay. Is it warm in here or is it just me? Is it warm in here? I don't know. Can you imagine if I was wearing jeans or something? I'd be sweating, run would come running down my back. Anyway. So yeah, Kyrie's great. She was in, I remember that last fall. She was super. So let me tell you what we're doing this week. I guess somebody, there looks like a few people with these empty chairs. Looks like they maybe overdosed on basketball this last weekend or something, maybe, I don't know. Or they're already taken off for spring break or something. But I'll always maintain you learn more if you're in class, face to face, right? I mean, there's no doubt about it. I think so. I do have the exams at the end of the hour. I'm going to make sure I give myself enough time, or us enough time, that we'll dismiss by alphabet, like ABC, and then I've got them stacked alphabetically, so we'll do that. And last time I did it, I was screwed up. It was too close to the end, but Megan, remind me, will you, about that? And it was kind of funny. Megan told me she was going to bring a Kyrie, but I forgot it was a dog or cat. And so this morning she had sent me an email, and I didn't read it really right, and I didn't realize it was her. I was reading it on my phone, and all I knew is some student sent me an email, and it said, "Yes, dog." And I thought it was like, like, okay, yeah, whatever you ask me to do, I'll do, right? Because I sent some emails out. So I was laughing about that yes, dog, and then here it was Megan's, because I said, is it a cat or dog? I can't remember. Yeah, anyway, getting confused. So what we're going to do today and tomorrow, or Wednesday, is we're having basically student presentations, because during the exam on last Wednesday, I had you fill out a card. Anybody not fill out a card? See, what I've got is you either gave a presentation so far, or I've got your name on a card, okay? And and I sent a few emails yesterday. I wish I would have sent them maybe a little earlier, but so, and if you didn't read your email yet, there might be somebody here I haven't checked that didn't get the email yet, and we'll just bypass those. But today and Wednesday we're going to do a little bit of a catch-up, a little bit of more information on certain topics, and I'll be recording these, of course. I didn't want to start new sections on the reading list. That's what I didn't want before spring break, because then we're gone for a week and a half. We're Wednesday we see each other, but then we won't see each other for a week and a half by the time the next Monday comes around. So I didn't want to start more of the reading. So without further ado, Madison, come up here, and we'll have Madison tell us about melamine testing, and I'll probably have something else to tell you after she gets done.
Yeah, Maddie.
And Madison, there's a pointer there. See if you can figure that out, because that's your PowerPoint right here, right?
Yes.
Okay, got it? Yeah, there you go. Okay, take it away, Madison.
Okay, so my article is on melamine, and basically it's a raw material used for producing melamine resin, which is in plastic materials like bowls or kitchenware that you would use.
And let me interject something right here. I should have introduced this topic, introduced why we're doing this. Of course, you'll remember we already had melamine, but I ran into something about melamine this weekend that I want to show you after Madison gets done. And the kicker is that, and you guys will know this, whenever you learn, you don't learn about everything about melamine one day and then we can't talk about it again. So it's like more additional information about melamine. So that's why I wanted her to do it, and then I'll add some things. Go ahead, Tom.
So mass ingestion or a ingestion of melamine over a long period of time can lead to reproductive damage, bladder or kidney stones, or bladder cancer. And the most commonly known case of the melamine epidemic was in 2007, the pet food recall of dog and cat food. But a recent study showed that it had been found contaminating human foods like milk powder, milk, yogurt, used in infant formulas. And so It was reported to be found in 22 brands of infant formula, which led to more than 55,000 infants being diagnosed with severe traumas such as urinary tract complications or kidney failure. And it was, again, used to increase the appearance of protein in these formulas, so that it was people trying to get off with a cheaper route. And so then this company, Eurofin, offers two different methods of melamine analysis since the FDA has increased regulation of what it needs. So the first technique measures in parts per million, and the limit of detection of melamine is 2 milligrams per kilogram for parts per million. And limit of detection is basically just the smallest amount that is in something for that to be detected by a test. And then the second technique is very sensitive and is for analysis of infant food and dairy products. And it's detected in parts per billion range, and the limit of quantification, which is pretty much the same as limit of detection, is less than 0.1 milligram per kilogram.
Okay, so thank you, Madison. You can sit down and I'll make sure you understand what LOD is, the limit of detection, because every assay has like, sometimes it's called the lower limit of detection. And we don't get enough practice analyzing data and looking at experimental designs. But sometimes somebody might be presenting something and it's a bunch of hogwash because the numbers they're showing you is like at the lower limit of detection, and so maybe what they're showing you is not good. Remember how we talked, it's confounded, sometimes the data is bad. So, but I thought it was interesting that after this 207 pet food recall, then chemists got together and decided how to analyze for melamine, because they knew it was going to be a terrible thing and people aren't going to stop trying to cheat, right? Remember, they're cheating because melamine has what percent nitrogen? 67% nitrogen. So you add it to some feed stuff and you get more money on the market for that feed stuff, because when you analyze for protein, you actually analyze for nitrogen times, what's the number? Nitrogen percent times a certain number, 6.25 equals percent protein. And so you got all these unscrupulous people putting this crap into the feed source for animal, it was, and then baby formula. So let me see if I can pull up, I will. I've got the article that I sent her, and I just wanted to do a little bit. Here's the link I sent her. But anyway, let me enlarge this a little bit, sorry. And so I'm not going to do any more reading on this, so whatever notes you take is great. But it seemed like a lot of this stuff was coming from China, tainted with melamine. And I mean, my gosh, 20% of the dairy companies tested have sold products tainted with melamine. I mean, that's like pretty widespread. It's getting into baby formula. And then they didn't actually say how they used it, but I wanted to introduce an acronym. Yeah, here it is. It doesn't have all the acronyms I wanted, but I guess it's got one. What's it, when you see this using GC-MS, you should know what that means. Those chemists out there, what's that when you use these techniques? Anybody? GC? Nobody in the room knows what GC is when you're analyzing for things? It's an instrument. Gas chromatography. Okay, so gas chromatography dash MS. Mass spectrometry. Now that's quite a, you can look up how to spell that yourself. The thing is, it's not something anybody can do. You have to have this special equipment, you have to have the standards, you have to have all these rules. I was fortunate when I was a graduate student, and if you ever get a chance, you don't usually get a chance when you're undergrad, but I took a course when I was at graduate school called, listen to this, instrumental analysis. And that was kind of fun. You went to a lab and it was full of all these instruments, and then they would say, go find something to analyze, and we'll analyze for X. You know, it might be some dog food or cat food, whatever. And then there's another instrument that often used also, HPLC. That's all capital too, and we'll see if Aaron can tell us that too. HPLC, that's another instrument often used for these, you know, special analysis, not, you know, melamine. That, I don't know if there's anybody on campus. The only place I would probably guess that they could analyze for melamine is maybe the state chemist's office behind us over here. It'd be kind of interesting to find out. HPLC. Aaron? Yeah, that's okay. What is it?
High performance liquid chromatography.
Yeah, it's often called high pressure or high performance liquid chromatography. So maybe you'll never get a chance to use them, maybe, but at least you'll know that it's like very fine, delicate instruments costing tens of thousands of dollars. If you ever work in one of these labs, be very careful because you can mess up an instrument, and you know, you put like syrup in it, you'll probably all screw it up and it'll be $20,000 fee. But anyway, they can analyze for that. Now we're going to move on, and we're going to do Ari. Let's see, Ari. Am I saying that right, Ari? I mean,
Airy, but
Ari?
I'll answer
Okay,
you.
Ari. Ari, okay. So let's see, you sent me some, oh, you sent,
The email about
the email, yeah. So let me find those images right here. I think this is right here. Let's see.
It's like two different ones because it's
Yeah.
like different sizes of the
Right.
can or whatever.
I'm going to open with photo gallery. There's one. Go back there. And second, because if I start something bad, okay. Okay, which one do you want first? The other one?
That one.
Oh, this one?
actually, Yeah.
Okay, then we'll try to find it. Okay, so Ari, is that right?
Yes.
Ari, okay. Ari sent me an email Friday or something, and
Thursday, I think.
Thursday.
Something like that. I don't know.
and somebody was using these dog pheromones. And I wanted to talk a little bit about dog pheromones. Let me shut this off for 1 second. Because I hadn't talked about dog pheromones, right? We talked about boars and bulls and rodents, but then I thought it was neat that they were using this in real life, and you can tell us your experiences. And then I want the audience to tell me if you've used any dog pheromones or if seen them sold in a store or whatever. Go ahead.
So my fiance's family, they just got a new puppy, and she's crazier than all get out. So they actually heard about this product and decided to get it for like behavioral and barking and just training purposes. But all it is, it's called Sentry Stop That, and it's a behavioral spray that takes like it's just an aerosol can, but it has a dog pheromone that is a neonatal pheromone. And so between the pheromone and the noise of the spray can, it's it's supposed to like help spook / like, I don't know. It scares like the dogs, but then it like the pheromone helps the stress level and then the behavior, so they kind of learn not to do that.
So can you give us an example? Like if the dog's doing something, are you saying bad, then you...
Yeah.
Spray
Like
this?
for the way she's doing it is the dog likes to jump a lot. I mean, she's part Chihuahua, so she
okay.
has the energy of a Chihuahua.
Okay.
But they're trying to break her of that because his grandparents were older and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so every time the dog would jump, they'd spray that
Okay.
about like 3 or so feet away.
Okay.
And just the air blast and then the pheromone combined is
Okay.
supposed to help. And I guess it is helped. She doesn't jump up as much unless she gets really, really excited now.
Okay.
So, I mean, it is working, but it's also used for, like, the high stressful situations like storms and car rides, I guess. But she doesn't react to that stuff, so they really don't. They just use it for the behavioral aspect.
Okay.
But I guess it's a lavender chamomile? I think I'm saying that right. Fragrance, I can't smell it, but she can. So I guess when it sprays, she smells it really well, and I just...
Now you're saying the dog smells it well, or your friend?
The grandmother
The
of
grandmother
my
smells
fiance.
it, yeah, okay.
She smells it and I don't, so I don't know if it has like the same effect like the Borting or anything, like on the aspect of people.
Right.
But depending on where you buy it, it depends from like $6 to $13. Like
Okay.
eBay is going to be cheaper than the company that it comes
Mhm.
off of.
So it's an aerosol. Maybe we can get the other
Yeah.
image up. Contents under pressure. Here, let me try to find it. Here it is. Behavior correction spray.
Yeah, and this just kind of tells you how to use it. I mean, what got my attention is the pheromone aspect of it from the last exam. We talked about it, except with swine. So I emailed Dr. Ulrich and kind of showed him the real life aspect, I guess, in dogs. So, but it's supposed to stop unwanted behavior. You're supposed to spray it 12 to 18 inches. She goes for about 3 feet just to kind of make sure it doesn't hurt the dog. So, but it's helped the dog calm down when it comes to like jumping and getting excited. So, so far I guess it works.
Okay, let's see what the audience has to say. Here we go.
I think we sell those at PetSmart. I think that they are the refills for like the bark collars.
Okay.
You could either do citronella or you could do that, and they come either one. You can use it as the spray can or you can use it as a refill.
You know, they make collars too, and the
that
collars
automatically spray that. Yeah.
Yeah, but the collars don't have a spray on it. They have a
Some
deodorant.
of them have. Well, no, this is like a puff of. So
Oh,
they either do a puff
okay.
of that or a puff of citronella rather
Okay.
than a shock for barking.
Okay, but now I wonder, is that what they're calling the pheromone, the lavender, or is there actually a dog pheromone in there?
A
video
would
I
assume
watched-
That there's the pheromone.
Yeah,
It's
a
just
video I
branded
watched
that
of a
way.
vet, like, it affects like a neonatal pheromone,
Yeah,
but like,
yeah.
that's all he said about it, so
Okay.
I don't know if.
Right. So
You
there's a
know
pheromone
more.
plus these other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know citronella is completely separate from that. It's like a different spray.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that
Along
one
the
is
same lines.
supposed to just like it just puffs a little bit from
Okay.
the collar so that they smell it and it makes it stop.
And it's supposed to be like a calming
Mhm.
influence. Okay.
Yeah.
So anybody else, Shannon? Do you have something to say?
Yeah, we don't do much for dogs with pheromones. We do like Celio gel, which is like a pheromone, but it's like for calming, for like storms, stuff like that. But we do a lot for cats. So we have like feel away plugins, diffusers,
Mhm.
wipes, stuff like that.
Okay. And what does it? Does it have a cat pheromone in it? or does
Supposedly
it
has
have-
like it has a cat pheromone, but it also has like calming, so like lavender,
Lavender
or
something like that.
Because
So,
if you
like-
go to any of those kind of good earth stores, you can buy stuff for yourself. Kind of like
But we don't really sell them that much.
Okay,
And too,
yeah.
when I do sell them, people will say they kind of work,
Yeah.
but not really.
It's hit or miss with the
Yeah.
bad behavior issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it works on this dog because she's still so young, and like they're training her young. But I mean, she doesn't have an older dog, so I can't really
Well,
testify on that.
I have a question too. So when you spray it, is it more of the pheromone, or is it just
Well-
you spraying the dog?
Right. Well, here's how you
That
do
I
it.
don't
Same
know.
behavior if you got a water bottle and went
Right.
no.
I mean,
No,
it just
not-
depends on like I don't know. I mean, her
Yeah.
dog loves water, so that wouldn't work for her case.
Yeah. But I don't know
So
because some dogs don't like getting hit in the face with
Mhm.
anything.
Or
I think it's a
sound.
combination
Yeah.
between.
So what you'd have to do is find some bottle of this that has nothing in
Yeah,
it except
and test it
the
that way.
pressurized
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah, because I'm
And-
wondering that too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I don't like
Or
use it. I
it's
would
just
stop
like
doing what if someone
spray.
sprayed me in the face
Right.
with something.
Yeah, but like, and she does it far away, so like the dog's not actually getting hit.
Right,
like it's
right.
just the scent. I don't know though. Like I said, she
Well, I
kind
think
of
it's
just
always going to be
discovered.
controversial, and you'll find a group of people
Yeah.
that says yes, it works for my dog, and you'll
I would
find
just want to know, like,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I want to eliminate everything.
Right.
Because you can't just say, oh, I tried once because this. There's a lot of other factors
Mhm.
that could make it. Yeah, you have all this stuff in a canister, but maybe it's just the actual
it's this,
sound
the,
or
it's
the
called the
feeling.
vehicle, the thing that
Yeah.
carries out
Yeah.
the active ingredients. The inactive ingredients supposedly is the vehicle under pressure.
Yeah, and I mean she's tried different things. I guess this is one of those last resort. Like I said, I don't know.
I think
So
it's cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was kind of interesting to hear up on like the
Mhm.
vet that helped create it,
Yeah.
his perspective. So
Okay. Thank you. Let's see, Emily. Am I going to pronounce that right? Stitzman? Stitzman? Say it one more time.
Sits.
Oh,
and then
Sitzman.
mid.
Okay, wow. Okay. So then, did you send me an image?
Yeah, I just emailed you an image last week.
Oh, let's see. I wonder if this is right here.
Yeah.
I think this is it.
Yeah.
This is it?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So we just have some more general pheromone
Yeah, so
presentation.
The article I was given was using pheromones to treat behavioral problems, so it kind of ties in. And the DVM that they had testify said that pheromones were a type of chemical communication between animals in the same species, which we've already talked about. And it's received by the vomeral nasal organ, which we've already discussed as well. And products like this are meant to mimic the animal's natural pheromones. With cats, it's used for marking, aggression, scratching, and stress. It's used in dogs, but it's not as common, mostly for like stress and separation anxiety. And I have some pictures of common pheromones. The Feel Away contains the feline F3 facial pheromone, and the DAP, which stands for dog appeasing hormone, is a pheromone that is released by nursing dogs to like calm their puppies or soothe their puppies. And like we discussed, it comes in wipes. These are diffusers, sprays, and you can also get collars. I think there's like one dog collar that's like vet approved that's on the market right now. And you can also use hormonal blends that are meant to like stimulate the animal's natural hormones. And lots of vets say for these products to be effective, they need to be used with like behavioral modification, so also like positive reinforcement. And you can also try, they have drug therapies and stuff if your animal actually has like a thyroid problem or a hormonal problem. And they say that if your animal does have a problem with aggression, that it could be caused by something like pain related, so always like check before you just go to like drug therapies or using pheromones. No side effects between like species have been recorded, since most of these products are very natural and they don't like affect other species, so if you have like cats and dogs in the house. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay, yeah, because so that would be called a diffuser, where you plug it in and
Yeah.
it heats up and it, you know, will naturally circulate with the airflow by convection, right? And
We
then-
use these at my work a lot for dogs
Okay.
that have, like I have a collar for Grace, and we
Okay.
sell diffusers a lot for people that have dogs that have separation anxiety, or the
Okay.
multi-cat for people with homes, cats that don't feel them.
Right, so that, I mean, so you're,
I know there's a difference with Grace, and if I either have the collar on or you can buy spray bottles at my work, and I can make a heavier dose of the pheromone for if it's an extra stressful situation.
wow, and
So
so
I
you're
can see a difference.
in the category where you think they are working.
Yeah, I have one of these in my apartment.
Okay.
Because I had two cats that just lived at home with me and they had like never moved before.
Okay, yeah.
I can't say like if it actually helped because I'd never seen them like move somewhere without them before, but you can't like smell it or anything. It's not too expensive. It's like $20 or something for like a refill. So
And how long does one of those last?
about a month or so.
Okay, a month or so.
Yeah.
I'm kind of not sure about this, but see how this one says veterinarian recommended? I mean, you can always find a vet to recommend anything, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't mean much, but then this side doesn't say anything about that. I don't know. It doesn't say veterinarian recommended, does it? On the, oh, they're here.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong spot. Okay, so they're both.
And
You
they
can
have-
always find, no matter what product you have, you can always find at least one vet that will say, yes, that's good, right? Be
And
aware
they
of that.
have different like refills. Like there's ones for like scratching and marking and stuff like
Okay,
that. But I
yeah.
haven't
So
used
they're
those.
specific.
Mhm.
That's interesting. Okay, thank you. Then, Megan, you've got the dog.
I can probably use the same picture.
Well, this is this. Let me see what I started up here with this. You can at least this is up here, okay? So here's the pointer. If you well, I guess you probably don't need a pointer. Okay.
So I'm actually going to talk about DAP, or the dog appeasing pheromone. It's released by the sebaceous glands in lactating female dogs between 3 to 4 days after birth and 2 to 5 days after weaning. It's detected by the Jacobson organ and is appeasing to both the pups and the adults. It also helps to establish a bond between the pups and the mother. And then a synthetic DAP analog has been developed and is used to reduce stress-related behaviors. It can be found in many products that we just heard about, like Adaptil. I think they're the ones that make the collar.
Okay. Okay.
And then Comfort Zone Although there, like, as you kind of all said, you know, there's mixed reviews on it. There's nothing like concrete that says that it works.
Okay, yeah, because I ran into this because after I found out that there are these hormone or the pheromones out there. So this one is named pretty specifically, dog appeasing pheromone, and it's made between the mammary glands of the dog, down where the mammary glands don't quite join. And there's a word for that. Thanks, Megan. You can sit down. I'm looking for that area. So it's really okay. I'm looking for the name of that area, and I don't see it right here, so I'm gonna have to go to Google. And that's a little dangerous, but that's okay. SUC? No.
The sulcus? SULCUS?
No, it's not. This is dangerous. I can't remember how to spell that area. It's okay, so let me just do one more thing. No, it's maybe that's it right there. There it is. Okay, here's the term I was looking for. It's also in the brain. It's this SULCI. That's where like there's a groove. Sulci? I'm gonna do this anyway. So it's like where the dividing lines are. Let me see images here. Okay. Anyway, and then let me do one thing, because you know what's going to happen here? I'm going to put mammary gland down, and you know what I could run into, right? Oh, makes for a fun time. Okay, let's see. Okay. I've almost got it. I'm gonna try to do dogs here. Okay. So this is kind of like a new term, and here it is. In a dog, there's usually what, 5 or 6 pair of mammary glands, right? And then the area right here, should do it on here, right here where the 2 mammary glands kind of come down to the skin, that's called the mammary sulci, I guess, SULCI, sulci. But sulci, make sure you understand, could be in the brain too. It's areas where like there's a demarcation. Okay, enough with the new term. Okay, let's see. I guess Aaron's going to come up here and talk a little bit about lead poisoning. Did you send me something?
Yes.
Okay. And there it is. Okay, now we're going on to relieving pheromones. And remember how I'm saying today, we're just kind of doing miscellaneous things that have been in the news or we've talked about before, but we really haven't talked about lead. But it's kind of interesting that, of course, Flint, Michigan had all that problems a couple of years ago. And I thought, it'd be kind of interesting to talk about it a little bit. And then after she gets done, I want to show you some data of actually blood levels of lead in the kids in Flint. Okay?
So the article I read was about lead poisoning, which obviously occurs when you're exposed to a certain toxic level of lead, whether that's through water, dust, certain household objects like paint, and even there used to be some toys that would have lead in them. So it is more toxic to children than it is to adults. One of those reasons is because kids are more likely to put things in their mouth that may contain lead in them, and then kids also absorb more of the lead that they come in contact with than adults do. So some of the symptoms of lead poisoning are headaches, irritability,
difficulty sleeping, abdominal pain, like tingling of certain limbs, and then if it's more serious, it can cause seizures and a coma and even death too. So some of the ways that they diagnose lead poisoning are through measuring the blood lead levels and looking at it can cause malformations of red blood cells. And then one way that I found pretty cool was in children, the epiphyseal plate right here, this white line, can be an indication of high lead levels. And then in order to treat it, they use something called chelation therapy, which is where they use medications that will actually bind to lead, and then therefore it's excreted from the body. And about over 800,000 people die from lead poisoning each year, but it's most common in developing countries.
So that's quite a death toll.
Yeah.
800,000 a year in the world die from lead poisoning.
Yep.
Wow. I guess I didn't know that number.
Yeah,
So-
it's mainly in developing countries, like it's not as common here.
So
but
0.8 million. 0.8 million people die. Not quite a million. That's terrible. Okay, thank you, Aaron. I'm going to show them the article that I found. Let's see, here it is. And I think this is, yeah, that's probably that same image. But what's interesting is, does this have it? They've got, the CDC sets these limits, Center for Disease Control. For adults, the upper limit for blood is 10 micrograms per deciliter. Now, 10 micrograms per deciliter is like saying 10 micrograms per 100 grams, right? So, well, see, and actually, you could say a deciliter is 100 mils too, by the way. You could have 100 mils or 100 grams, right, of blood. It's basically water. So let's see how this goes. You could have 10 micrograms per deciliter, or you could say 10 micrograms per 100 mils, or per 100 grams. That's all those three ways are the same. But in children, it's 5. Okay, 5 micrograms, because Aaron did a good job. They're more susceptible. They're still developing. They tend to get, babies, if they're in a crib that's got lead paint, they're going to suck on the paint, aren't they? They're always putting things in their mouth. And the dust, that's the other thing. I know. Did you mention dust? I can't remember. Yeah. It can be in the dust, so they can breathe it in. And you get some of these old homes that are kind of dusty and the windows leak air, that just circulates the lead. So I was thinking, okay, what about Flint, Michigan? I want to see some data. And so at the bottom of this thing, this is quite a long article, it's really good, but at the bottom, they actually give lead in the kids in Flint, Michigan. If I remember, I got the right article here. Hopefully I do. I thought it was down here. Okay, no, it's not. Okay. I thought there was a table. Let me just go back and search it, because I wanted to show you some of the data. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Okay, I have another thing. So blood levels among children less than 6 years of age, and the data's down here. Sorry. Okay, so let's look at this. Because it's always nice to see the data. What's going on? So just look here. These are blood levels of lead, and they're talking about who had over 5 micrograms per deciliter, right? And so then they've got 4 time periods. Before the switch, so that was like, they switched water sources. That was the key. They went from Detroit water to their own water, and that caused more of the problem. But even before they switched, they had, looks like a little lead problem. But then that's, I guess that is just the pure, that's a percent there. So that's 74%. Then it went to 84% after the switch. And the thing is, then it's kind of gone down now. But here's the data. Here's 5 to 9 micrograms. And maybe I should do it over here. 5 to 9 micrograms, 10 to 14. And let me shut this off 1 second so I don't lose this.
Yeah.
Okay. So now these are actually numbers of children, it's not percent. But so 5 to 9, so that's close to double. There's 59 kids like that. But then it does drop down. But look at some kids even had 20 to 39 micrograms. So if that's, let's say it's close to 40, so that would be 8 times the limit they should have. So it'll be kind of interesting. But luckily it's 5 to 9 and then 10 to 14. But so somebody is doing the blood testing because that's important to figure out what actually is going on. Connor, did you have a question or no? Okay, comment. Okay, so I just wanted to do that lead because it's been in the news. Okay, so now I'm going to spread out our papers because I'm going to stop there. But some of you will get an email from me tonight about Wednesday, okay? And you know, you've seen how people do 5 minutes plus or minus, not a big deal. Kyrie, you've been sleeping.